morning, ACA. I'm Sophia Owen with your daily weather update. Let's take a look at today's weather forecast in Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles enjoys a Mediterranean climate, which means hot, dry summers and mild, wetter winters. Most of the year it's sunny and pleasant, but we do see seasonal changes in rainfall, while temperatures relatively stay stable. But what actually controls LA's weather? It's all thanks to global atmospheric circulation, where three major cells, Hadley, Ferrel, and Polar, work together to create consistent weather patterns. The Hadley cell, near the equator, pushes warm air upward, which sinks down back around 30 degrees latitude, right where LA sits. This creates dry, descending air, which helps keep our summers hot and mostly rain-free. Then we have the Ferrel cell, which moves air in the opposite direction. This brings occasional storms, especially in the winter, when westerly winds carry Pacific storms inland. The polar cell doesn't affect LA much since it mainly influences areas farther north, but all these systems work together to shape our climate. And let's not forget about the Coriolis effect. Because Earth's rotation, wind in the northern hemisphere get deflected to the right, which helps direct the westerlies that bring LA its winter rain. It also influences the ocean currents, like the cold California current, which helps keep coastal areas even mild when inland temperatures soar. Speaking of rotation, here's a fun fact. Hurricanes in the northern hemisphere spin counterclockwise, while in the southern hemisphere they spin clockwise. That's pretty neat. Finally, the Pacific Ocean plays a huge role in moderating LA's temperatures. While inland areas are heating up due to climate change, coastal regions get some relief from the ocean's cooling effect. But extreme heat events are becoming more common, especially in areas farther from the coast. The sun heats the planet, the atmosphere regulates heat, and the ocean acts as a massive heat reservoir, all working together to determine Earth's climate. And now, let's take a look at the 5-day forecast in Los Angeles. We're in a mostly mild week, with temperatures staying in the mid to upper 60s during the day and dropping to the mid 50s at night. Expect partly cloudy skies for most of the week, but keep an umbrella handy. There's a chance of rain, especially as we head into the weekend. Here's a day-by-day breakdown. Today is partly cloudy with a high of 62 degrees Fahrenheit and a cool low at 46 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a little warmer, reaching 65 degrees in the afternoon before dropping to 43 degrees at night. Friday, more clouds move in with a high of 68 and a low of 47 plus a chance of rain. Saturday, showers are likely throughout the day, so if you're heading to the Valentine's Day parade, bring an umbrella. Expect a high of 72 and a low of 48. Sunday, clouds stick around, but things dry up a bit. High of 68 and low of 50. A barometer reading is a measurement of atmospheric pressure, which is the force of air pushing against everything around it. Barometer readings are used to predict weather patterns and changes in altitude. As of the latest weather reports, the barometric pressure in Los Angeles, California is currently around 30.23 inches of mercury. The pressure in Los Angeles, California is expected to rise slowly in the coming hours. The average pressure for this period is 30.13 grams in mercury, which is pretty normal. But on the other higher side, humidity is the amount of water vapor in the air. If there's a lot of water vapor in the air, the humidity will be high. The higher the humidity, the wetter it feels outside. Right now, humidity is 91% and indoor humidity is 36%. This is considered slightly dry compared to the ideal range for most homes, typically between 30 and 50% humidity. Wind direction is west. Wind speed varies between 0 and 4.5 miles per hour, with wind gusts up to 4.5 miles per hour. Cloud cover is increasing, with a 50% chance of rain precipitation throughout the week. Right now, Los Angeles is seeing stratus and stratocumulus clouds as a weak warm front approaches, meaning we could get some light drizzle or rain as it moves in. Temperature barometer reading, which is air pressure, humidity, wind, and precipitation are all interconnected factors which significantly influence weather conditions, with changes in one element causing cascading effects in another element, ultimately determining whether the weather will be sunny, cloudy, rainy, stormy, or otherwise. Want an easy way to remember the key weather elements? Just think of water. W stands for wind, A, air pressure, T, temperature, E, expected precipitation, and R, relative humidity. Because knowing the forecast is just as important as staying hydrated. Right now, LA is under a high pressure system, which explains the mostly dry and mild conditions. But as we head toward the weekend, expect a thermal inversion may trap pollutants close to the ground, so be sure to check local air quality reports before heading outdoors. And now, let's talk about a major weather event heading our way. A weakening tropical storm, formerly Hurricane Linda, is making its way up from the Pacific and is expected to bring heavy rain, gusty winds, and the risk of flash flooding in Southern California by Thursday night. If you have outdoor plans, be prepared for wet and windy conditions. Speaking of storms, here's a joke for you. Why did the tornado break up with the hurricane? It needed some space to chill out. Now let's take a quick break. Stay tuned for more weather updates after this.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. Check it out.
The old Fumble-Rooski.
Or you can bundle home and auto and save money. The old Bundle-Rooski.
Whew, that's a better play.
Plus, it's more fun to say.
Back to our weather insights. Today, Los Angeles is experiencing moderate air quality conditions. The Air Quality Index, AQI, is currently at 64, which means air quality is generally okay, but sensitive groups should take caution. Wildfires that started on January 7th have burned over 16,000 hectaacres, leading to fluctuating pollution levels from particulate matter and other pollutants. Here's why that matters. Los Angeles struggles with both primary and secondary pollutants. Primary pollutants come directly from sources like cars and factories, and secondary pollutants like smog and ozone form in the atmosphere. Los Angeles continues to face challenges with certain criteria pollutants, particularly ozone and particulate matter. Los Angeles South Coast Air Basin is currently designed as a non-attainment area for these pollutants, indicating that levels exceed federal air quality standards. While long-term efforts have led to significant reductions in pollutions like ozone, recent events such as wildfires have caused temporary spikes in particulate matter, adversely affecting air quality. So what can be done? What should LA do in regards to your industrial photochemical smog? Strengthening emission regulations on vehicles and industrial sources is key, since transportation remains the largest contributor to smog. Expanding public transportation and investing in green energy could make a major difference. Thinning of the ozone layer increases UV radiation exposure, which can lead to health issues like skin cancer and cataracts, as well as harm ecosystems. I think that CFCs, which are chlorofluorocarbons and other ozone-depleting substances, have largely phased out due to the Montreal Protocol, but that recovery is still ongoing. In terms of acid deposition, I see acid rain as a major consequence of industrial emissions such as SO2. I think that while regulations like the Clean Air Act have reduced sulfur dioxide emissions, acid rain still affects forests, aquatic life, and infrastructure. Air pollution isn't just an outdoor problem, it's inside your homes too. Here are some common sources of indoor pollution you might want to think about. Household products like cleaners, air fresheners, and candles release VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds. Poor ventilation traps mold, dust, and even carbon monoxide. Gas stoves and carpets can emit harmful chemicals, affecting air quality inside your home. And here's how to fix it. Ventilate. Open windows and use air purifiers to keep air fresh. Limit chemicals by choosing natural cleaners whenever possible. And before we wrap up, let's talk about something that's shaping our planet's future: climate change. Scientists agree that Earth's climate is changing due to a mix of natural and human causes. On the natural side, solar cycles, volcanic eruptions, and shifting ocean currents all play a role in influencing global temperatures. But here's the key difference. While Earth has always gone through climate shifts, the rapid warming we're seeing today is due to human activity. Burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas releases greenhouse gases, trapping heat in the atmosphere. Deforestation reduces the planet's ability to absorb carbon dioxide, and industrial and agricultural activities pump even more emissions like methane into the air. The result? Rising temperatures, melting ice, and more extreme weather events. So how do scientists do all of this? Climate change research is based on solid data. Here are some of the ways experts study our changing climate. Tree rings and coral reefs tell us about the past temperature patterns. Satellite data tracks global temperatures, sea level rise, and melting ice. Advanced climate models use physics and real-world data to predict future changes. So what can we do about it? Climate action comes in 3 areas. Mitigation, cutting emissions through renewable energy, energy efficiency, and reforestation. Adaptation, preparing for climate impacts with solutions like flood barriers, drought-resistant crops, and stronger infrastructure. And lastly, policy and innovation, supporting climate policies, investing in green technology, and promoting sustainable practices. And guess what? Switching renewable energy could cut emissions by 90%. This is life-changing. That's your weather report and climate update for today, ACA. Stay warm, stay dry, and I'll see you tomorrow with your next weather report. This is Sophia Owen reporting live from Topanga Canyon State Park in Los Angeles, California, where conditions are absolutely brutal right now. As you can see, the wind is howling. The rain is coming down sideways, visibly, quickly dropping. This storm, formerly Hurricane Linda, is pushing its way through Southern California. Good morning, everyone. Today we're tracking an intense weather event in Los Angeles. This storm includes heavy rain and strong winds. This calls for flooding, road closures, and cold temperatures. But how do people handle extreme weather like this? I have a special guest today, Lisa Owen. If we were experiencing this weather at home, what would you do to stay safe?
One thing I would do to stay safe is to have the supplies I needed handy, and also I would advise staying out of these dramatic conditions.
Great advice. Have you ever experienced weather like this before?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I remember the storm of the century in 1993 when I-40 was closed. There were dramatic winds in Florida where I was on spring break, and I could not even reach North Carolina driving back to college, so there was a detour to a relative to spend the night until I-40 reopened.
Wow, thanks for sharing. And that's all for today's weather update. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.